It's my honor to introduce Sir to this session. Sir has been a great inspiration and a great guide who we can depend on any situation. So I'm reading a brief introduction about Sir. Mr. Balasubramanian had his initial education at Madurai and graduated in chemistry from Presidency College, Chennai. He obtained his post-graduation analytical and inorganic chemistry. Madras University post-graduation in Hindi from Sri Venkateshwar University and post-graduation in education from Annamalai University. He obtained a diploma in German from University of Madras, a certificate in technology from Trent College of Education, UK, and a certificate in education from Leeds University, UK. He is a certified master trainer for skills development from Glasgow, UK. Starting his career as a postgraduate teacher in chemistry in public school, he took over as a principal of Hindu Senior Secondary School, Chennai. He joined the Central Board of Secondary Education as a joint secretary in 1984 and has worked in several capacities in academics, examination, mental and administration branches of CBSE. Elevated to Director Academics in 1997, he held the additional charge of Chief Vigilance Officer of the board. He retired from the services of the board on 20th February 2006. Presently, he has his own consultancy services under the banner of Education Systems and Innovations. He had been the chairman of the Curriculum Reforms Committee and Examination Reforms Committee in the Government of Tamil Nadu. Known for his innovation in curriculum development and interactive pedagogy, he has been instrumental to the introduction of several innovations in curriculum in CBSE, which frontline curriculum, communicative approach to language teaching, information technology, biotechnology, entrepreneurship, fashion studies, disaster management, life skills education, alternatives to homework, among others. He is a strong advocate of stress-free education and has initiated several steps in this direction. He has fashioned himself as a premier teacher trainer and in ushering change management in schools. His interests include philosophy, psychology, poetry, and literature. He has widely traveled in many countries, which include England, France, Germany, Holland, Switzerland, Japan, Malaysia, Thailand, Sri Lanka, and in Gulf. He has participated in several national and international conferences and presented papers on a wide variety of academic interests. The position that Sir has held as Director Academics CBSE, Chief Vigilance Officer CBSE, Chairman Technical Committee NABIT, Quality Council of India, Chief Academic Officer Global Indian Schools, Singapore, Malaysia and Japan, consultant to Pearson Education India, advisor to Hey Maths, mentor of GSK Senior Secondary School, Tamil Nadu. Presently, member academic at Genesis Global Schools, Noida, member government board.
Unmute yourself, Vatsala. Please unmute.
Sorry.
There's a lot of distraction. Go ahead.
Okay, sir. Presently, member academic advisory board, Genesis Global School, Noida, member governing body, St. Mary's School, Delhi, member advisory board, Global Discovery Schools, India, consultant, Madhuban Publishing Company, Delhi, editor-in-chief, The Progressive Schools Quarterly Magazine. He has authored schools in science and information technology. He has authored several books for teachers, academicians, and educational administration. He has published several short stories, articles in Tamil magazines. Thus, publications are in education, mindscaping education, classroom, quality spectrum, the school's bandwidth.
Vatsala, 1 minute. 1 minute. Give me a second. Give me a second, please. Now unmute yourself again.
Okay,
I have muted this the noise that was in the background. Go ahead,
Okay,
unmute
sir,
yourself.
I've done that, sir. So I'm continuing from where I left. Publications.
That's right. Yes, that's right.
They're mentioning about the publications that sir is in education. Sir has published Mindscaping Education, Case Studies in Classroom, Quality Spectrum, A School's Bandwidth, School Safety, Issues and Concerns. Sir has also composed beautiful poetry, and it is by the name of A Happy Journey, Apologies to an Existence. He has, to his credit, several publications in the form of articles, stories, poems published in Tamil, English, and Hindi. Sir has been bestowed upon the very special awards, and the awards are Vocational Excellence Award, Rotary Club Chennai, Seva Ratna in Education, the Centenarian Trust Chennai, I'm sorry, Lifetime Excellence Award for Adolescent Education, BIMHANS Delhi. And I would also like to add that every day, like me, most of the educators begin the day by looking at what sir has shared, because that gives us an insight into so many things that concern our field of work, personally, professionally, and every day we learn something new and we find so many answers. Sir, it is my privilege and pleasure to welcome you here on behalf of everyone. We look forward to your session and to get more guidance and to learn a little bit more, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Vatsala. Thank you. God bless you. Balaji, you will have to unmute yourself. I would like to hear your sweet voice only once at least, and then you could continue. Hello, Balaji. Can I hear Balaji? I can't. Your voice is not reaching me as yet.
Sir, unmute yourself.
Good evening, sir.
Balaji, sir, you are not unmuting. Unmute yourself, sir. Sir, we are not able to hear you. Your mic is not unmuted.
No worry. He may be busy setting right his screen and all that.
He has done it. He's speaking, but his mic is not unmuted. You unmute, sir.
I can't, sir. I will have to look about from 450 participants. I will have to search where he is. Hello, Balaji. Hello, Balaji. I have another way of doing it. Could I request all the participants that when I unmute them, they mute themselves? I'll unmute everybody, and the participants are requested to please mute themselves, because even the background noise.
Sure, sir. We'll do. Sure.
I'm unmuting. I'm unmuting all.
500 हुआ बंद हो जाएगा.
Doesn't work. I'm sorry, that didn't work. That didn't work. You saw the noise. Well, very soon, I think I'll be free from my task. I won't be able to admit anymore. We have already reached 460.
The participant, we're trying to search the participant name.
I'm trying to locate Balaji.
Please ring him up, sir. Please ring him up.
I did that, sir. You can also do that, sir. But his phone is switched off. Hello, Balaji. there may be a problem. If he has an Airtel connection, he can have a problem because Airtel will restore its connectivity. Yes. No, he has a Vodafone mobile phone, but that has been switched off. If you have some other number, Avtar Singh ji, you could try him at another number. I tried two.
Sir, from the participant list, you will be able to unmute him easily. Understood? From participant list.
Sir, my list is too small. It's a list of 462 people. I hope you can understand that. I am trying to go through that list, but it's very difficult for me to locate him. Very, very difficult, I tell you.
The list will be in the alphabetical order, sir.
It's not in the alphabetical order, my dear.
The participants are in the alphabetical order, sir.
No, dear. Shankari Jaiswal, Shafali is one. Sonia.
Sir,
And
see, in the
You
written
can
written
search in the participant list. I search, but he's not seen in that.
you've not seen him. No worry. He might
Yeah.
have left.
We can type the name of the person, and person is maybe he might not have named the device.
Oh, yes. That is also a possibility. He might is.
Sir, I can see him there, sir.
Where do you see
Sir,
him?
he is there.
But he's
His video is on. He is there. His video is on, and he is unmuted also.
Oh, that's right. Then possibly he may have some connectivity problem.
Still
because
mute. Sir, he's mute still. I can see.
He is mute.
Alash sir, please unmute yourself.
Yeah. Now he's here. Now he's here.
See, I was putting on the shared screen mode.
that's lovely.
That created a problem. Okay.
Don't worry.
You have my PowerPoint, sir?
No, sir. Have you sent it to me?
Yeah, I have already sent it to you.
You sent it to me. Well, I'll download it. You'll have to give me a minute.
That's right. Meanwhile, I'll carry on. Right?
No worry. But till then, you can talk. The
Yeah. Absolutely.
The participants are listening to you.
Well, good afternoon, everybody, and it's indeed a great pleasure.
Please, you stop sharing now. I can't share anything as long as you are sharing because I gave all controls to you. You will have to stop sharing. We are working with technology, and at our age, perhaps.
The PowerPoint.
Sir, I'll get the PowerPoint if you have sent it to me, but before that, you will have to stop sharing. On the right hand side, there is a box, a dialog box, which says stop sharing. Once you stop sharing, I'll be able to share. I think you've stopped sharing now.
He has done it, sir. He has done it.
He has done it. That's right, sir. Now, I don't know how to do it. I will be able to share, but first, before sharing, I have to find out what I am sharing. So I have to go. Where do I go? How do I change it to gallery view? Then I change it to exit full screen, and I bring all this down. I wipe off this also. No, I can't end the meeting. Oh my God. Sir, there is a slight problem for me. I can't end the meeting and then ask everybody to get back. That's not possible.
Sir, I think you don't have to end the meeting. You can go there, press the share, and then you can share your screen.
What do I share when I don't have anything on my computer? I have first to download that better. Dr. Bala has sent it as an email to me. You understand? I think if anyone...
Sir, you can open one more window. One more window, and from that you can download. You can keep this like that only.
See, I'm sorry, Vidya. Who is that on the line? Who is that on the line? I need your help.
Sir, Rajesh here from Bhopal. Sir, you exit the full screen.
I would like
open your mail. Exit the full screen, sir.
Give me one by one. One by one. I have
the right hand corner. Exit full screen.
Exit full screen. Right, sir. Then
open your mail, sir. You will be able to see the mail now. open
Just-
your mail window, you will be able to download.
Sir, after sharing.
I'm able to do it. No, sir. I'm
Great.
just downloading it. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. That was very clear instructions, and I'm able
Thank
to
you.
go. I'm able to go to my mailbox now. If sir has sent it on Yahoo, I don't know which mail. Oh, he has sent it. Ah, Balaji, good
Sir is
news.
also muted. Sir is
No,
muted.
no, this is not. This is not a presentation by him. This is from Bajaj. I'm sorry, I'm not able to get his presentation.
Sir, don't worry about it.
Need to refresh, sir. Please refresh your mail kindly.
No, I'm doing it. I'm doing it. I did that. I did that, but his presentation. Perhaps he has not sent it in Yahoo. He might have sent it on my different
Sir,
account.
don't worry. I will put it on my computer. Don't worry. Just hold on.
It's not in neither my Google Mail, email,
Sir, leave
nor.
it. I think he's now taking the screen and he's able to.
Sir, Balaji himself
Right.
is doing.
I will do it. I will do it myself.
Ah,
I'll do it.
lovely.
Lovely one.
We have 490 people waiting for you, sir.
Right. I'll do it myself. Don't worry.
You have to-
Okay. Let's go ahead. Let's go ahead, sir.
Oh, that's lovely. Sir, keep track of the mute button. You will have to keep on unmuting yourself. We keep on hearing noise. New members keep on joining. So I have to keep on muting virtually. And you will have to unmute yourself, Balaji. After you share, unmute yourself.
Right? Hello?
We are ready, sir. We are ready. But you're not.
Okay. Don't worry. Don't worry about sharing. I will go on speaking. Don't worry.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
But meanwhile, you can share it also because you had shared in the beginning.
Yeah. Right. I'll try to do that.
It doesn't matter.
Okay. Well, good evening, everybody, and it's indeed a great pleasure to be.
Sir, unmute yourself. You'll have to do that very occasionally because this is another 5-10 minutes. We have reached 480 people, another 20 people. Unmute yourself, Balaji.
I've done it, sir.
That's right. Go ahead, sir. Go ahead then. Now
So,
we won't.
yeah, I think we will go ahead without interruption.
That's right, sir.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, let me all first start by wishing both all our lady folks present here on happy Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day is a wonderful thing to greet all of you on this Mother's Day. There is a beautiful statement in our mythology, which as a worship to goddess, it says, Ya Devi Sarva Bhuteshu Matru Rupena Sasita Namastasye Namo Namaha. That really means I salute goddess who has come in the form of a mother. So the fact that we are celebrating the Mother's Day today, I think is a very fitness thing because we are talking about leadership in crisis. And I don't think you will get a better example of a person who a leader who manages a crisis except a mother. Every day morning, I think most of the mothers start with a crisis. As a matter of fact, the kind of problems they face, they don't even share it with their husbands, with the members of the family, or with others, but they beautifully manage all their problems without any, regret. And I think the kind of leadership mothers provide in a family is a beautiful example of leadership in crisis. And a mother has never gone to an Indian Institute of Management or elsewhere to acquire a degree in the management. So it is in the fitness of things that we talk about the leadership in crisis on the Mother's Day. Well, I must also thank Professor Handu for giving this topic to me, because crisis has always been a cup of tea to me. As one who has been working in the board, I spent years and years every day with one crisis or the other. I recall the days when I was in examinations. At 9:30 in the morning, I'll receive a call from one of the principals saying, "Sir, my students are appearing in English course B, but by mistake we have entered course A, and now we have got the question paper for course A. What should I do about it?" And I have got 45 children, and the schools will be somewhere in remote place. And how do you manage to send the question paper to them? How do you ensure the examinations are conducted properly? There are occasions when somebody calls you at 10 o'clock in the morning, "Well, sir, by mistake we have brought the chemistry paper instead of the physics paper today. Chemistry is only day after tomorrow. We have distributed the paper. Sir, what should we do now?" I don't know what kind of work they would have done, but there is a crisis. How do you manage a crisis? I remember the day when, in those days, we did not have technology. We did not allow the results to be sent through electronic media. They were all sent by post to schools. The technology was not well grown, so the results were printed, and the next morning, on the day of the result, they were all being announced to the people who used to stand in queue. There used to be thousands of people who stand in the queue, but unfortunately, when the results are getting printed, there was a shutdown of the transformer in the city, and you don't have the printing machine going through, and there is an announcement next day you have the result. There is a hue and cry. So you have always a problem with your work, and then you're facing a crisis is an order of the day, and I think that has really weathered us. We have never tried to run away from the crisis. Friends, the question is, now we are facing a crisis, the crisis of Corona, COVID-19, and I'm sure that all of us have a serious problem. But the question basically is, I want to put a small question to you, that is it a crisis or a chaos? I think one or two answers.
It's a challenge, sir.
It's more than a challenge. More than a challenge. A crisis is much more than a challenge, and a chaos is something more than the crisis, right? The question today is that if it is a crisis, you can confront the crisis, because normally the crisis is a locus. Probably a few things are associated with the crisis, and therefore we can identify what is the nucleus of the crisis, and then try to assess the kind of problems that we have through the to manage the crisis. But when it comes to chaos, chaos is multi-dimensional. It's very difficult to identify where is the locus of the chaos, right? And therefore, if you touch at a point A, it will give you a shock at point X, which you don't know. So there is entirely a difference between a crisis and a chaos, right? Now, for example, today what we face is a chaos that we really don't know, because it's not one system that has failed. It has several systems have failed here, right? So you have a problem, a challenge becoming a crisis, and a crisis becoming a chaos, right? So it is easy to find a solution for a crisis, right, by making effort prudently, but it's very difficult to make a decision for a chaos or manage a chaos at this point of time. But remember one thing, that this universe, this world is not new to chaos. As a matter of fact, you will find that actually the planets were born only out of the chaos. When you go to the Big Bang theory, the Big Bang was a great chaos, and only because of the chaos, the Big Bang, that you had all these planets coming through, and then from a disorder we got an order that has come through. That's a very interesting thing that you have to remember, that it is not mere a disorder, the disorder giving rise to several orders all around that. That's the beauty of chaos, right? Now, you also have evidences like, the great deluge that we talk of, when, the Noah's Ark was set in place where some kind of an order was ushered into the world, where you are able to restore an order, right? That's a disturbance.
You will have to unmute yourself again, sir. Please unmute yourself and then begin. I have stopped the disturbance, but now you unmute yourself.
Yeah, right? Okay?
Yes, sir.
So you have even in the Great Deluge, we had the Noah's Ark, where we were able to restore certain kind of order to this kind of a universe. Scientifically speaking, for people who have done science, they are very familiar with the word called entropy. Entropy means a measure of a disorder of a system, right? So whether it is a challenge, whether it is a crisis, whether it is a chaos, you have certain amount of entropy, certain amount of disorder, right? But the quantum and the quality of a disorder in chaos is much more. And scientists, when they talk about the entropy, they say all spontaneous reactions lead to a great disorder. In other words, scientists say that the world is always moving from order to disorder. The world doesn't move from disorder to order, but it's moving from order to disorder. And any movement from order to disorder is very spontaneous. Let's give an example for today. For example, when we are all now interacting, 90% of us are at home, and therefore we are very comfortable with what we are doing. Probably you are wearing a dress which is not very formal. Probably you are sitting in a posture which is absolutely comfortable to you. In other words, it's a kind of a disorder which you don't entertain yourself when you are in a school or in an office at a point of time. So order really calls for certain amount of discipline, certain amount of non-spontaneous reaction, whereas spontaneity always moves towards disorder, and we always love a kind of disorder. So there is a mathematical theory about this disorder chaos. I think the great mathematicians would have heard about what is called the theory of chaos, right? The theory of chaos, and it says beautifully that when a butterfly flaps its wings in China, it has its impact in Chicago. There is a tornado there is a hurricane in Chicago. Just look at this kind of a statement. If there is a butterfly which slaps its wings in China, it has an impact. It has a hurricane in Chicago. That is what is disorder. That you have a point, a place where something happens, but its impact travels wide across. When you look at this corona, exactly the same thing has happened. Something happened, started at China. Now it has got impacted United States and others. So that's a very typical way of how the chaos spreads around, that the elements to control, the variables to control the chaos are very, very, difficult and are very random. That is a challenge in the leadership that you find. That's a challenge that in the leadership you find. Now, but nevertheless, it is said by a great artist, a great painter from France, Paul Cézanne, said that the world is nothing but a rainbow of chaos. It's a beautiful statement. Paul Cézanne said that the world is a rainbow of chaos.
May I request you for a second, for 1 second? Now unmute yourself, sir. Unmute yourself and go ahead.
Yeah. The world is a rainbow of chaos, right? It's a beautiful statement that, everywhere there is some element of chaos, and therefore it is imperative on all our part to understand the elements that cause a crisis, the elements that cause a chaos, and then we should be able to handle them properly, whatever it is possible. It's also said chaos breeds creativity. Chaos destroys a family. That's a very interesting thing. So when you look at the kind of chaos that we have today, when you have an impact of corona, we are always looking at the possible modes, alternate modes of performance. Though we have adopted to what is called an online teaching at this point of time. We may not be successful, but remember one thing, in across the country, even people in remote villages and others schools are willing to experiment on the online technology, whether they have been successful or not. So chaos and crisis always leads to some kind of urge to create, some kind of an urge to open a new door, some kind of a challenge to us to see how we can get over the whole scenario. So what is leadership in chaos? Now, when you say that there is a disorder, when you say there is an order, so what should the leadership do? The role of leadership in crisis is to bring equilibrium between the order and disorder. The role of the leadership is to maximize productivity in the conflict between order and disorder. And I think that's a beautiful definition of leadership in crisis. Leadership in crisis understands that there is a disorder. Leadership in crisis knows that what are the ways to restore the order, but there are challenges, there are roadblocks. So how do, as a leader, I bring about a situation that the disorder is reduced and the order is maximized, but I'm not able to get into complete order, but I do bring equilibrium. I do maximize my productivity in the given areas, and that's exactly the role of a leadership in crisis. Remember one thing: when you have a crisis, you will not be able to be 100% successful. But a good leader is one. Typically, when we talk about the leader, we say a leader is one who knows the way, shows the way, and goes the way. And in crisis, it is very difficult to know the way. It is very difficult to show the way. It is very difficult to go the way, right? And that's where the effectiveness of a leader in crisis comes, that how he handles the crisis to find certain solutions which are optimal, which are acceptable, which show some kind of a progress, and yes, does relieve people in the system to be relieved of their stress. You know, when you look at the crisis, that there are three elements of a crisis, right? One, the crisis brings what is called a threat to an organization, right? So if you are dealing with a school, it is bringing a threat to the school. What do you mean by the threat to the school? That the kind of systems that you have established are now challenged. You are not able to follow the systems, right? And if everything is topsy-turvy, you don't know how to handle it. Then you have a HR system. What is that? The teachers are coming and they're teaching, and the certain work is being done. You have got an order in the system. The HR manual is there in the school, and you go by that. But unfortunately, teachers can't come in the crisis, and you cannot handle it. And therefore, yes, the whole system, whether it is your management system, whether it is a delivery system, whether it is an organizational system, all these systems are challenged, and you face a threat in the times of crisis. The second factor that you have in the at times of crisis is an element of surprise. What is that element of surprise? You don't know what is really happening around, right? You think that this is what's happening, but unfortunately you find something else is happening around, right? So the kind of inputs, the feedbacks that you are getting in the system is, challenging. For example, let me tell you that nobody expected a lockdown. And even if you thought that there could be a lockdown, that you thought it could be for a week or for 15 days, as was announced in the beginning. But the point of continuum that you have about it, the way that your examinations have all been, displaced, the way that you are not able to start your, calendar year as proposition, the entire system that you have placed is all, set at naught. And therefore, you believe that this is an element of surprise. You really don't know how to handle it. Now you have another thing. You don't know when the results will come. You don't know when the schools are going to start, whether you are going to have a new national policy, and then you are having a new curriculum, and then you are already in chasing what is called the online curriculum, online delivery models. But then there is a conflict here. Now, some parents are supporting online learning. Some parents don't support online learning. There is a conflict. Parents are asking a question: why should I pay to the school? Thank God the Supreme Court has said today that the parents should pay the fee. The question what I'm saying is there are so many elements of surprise. So you find your regularity of the system, the institutional order that you have is being challenged. The third factor that you have, I repeat, the first is the threat to the organization, threat in multidimensional ways. The second challenge that you have is an element of surprise. You really don't know what to handle, how to handle. But by the time you set something in order, something else happens around. That's a challenge that you have in crisis. The third dimension that you have is a short time that you have for making any decision. Right? When you are in crisis, right? So you have a very short time for decision making. Right?
Sir, unmute yourself, please.
Yeah.
Balaji, unmute yourself again. No, sir, you have not unmuted yourself as yet.
Right?
Now
are you
it's
able to
all
hear?
right. Yes,
Yeah.
sir, all right.
Well, the decision time that you have at your disposal is very, very small. So you have no process, way you can consult people. You have no way to consider any alternatives. You are driven to take decisions at a given point of time. That's a very important thing. So the three dimensions of a crisis: one, institutional threat to all your systems that you have done. Second, an element of surprise that you have. You really don't know how to handle the crisis. And the third, the time that you have for making the decision. You have a great you are a great expert, Labinga, economist by name Labinga, did a lot of studies worldwide on the crisis, and he categorized the crisis in 8 types. Right? The crisis could be born out of a natural disaster. Crisis could be born out of a technological fault. Crisis could be born out of a confrontation between people. Crisis could also be born out of malevolence of some person or somebody in the system. Organizational misdeeds, group behaviors could cause a crisis. Workplace violences could cause a crisis. Rumors can cause a crisis. And similarly, terrorist attacks can also cause man-made and mistake. So he has classified eight different types of crises that you have. But we are not worried about all the type. What I want you to understand at this point of time, that as a leader, we understand, one, the difference between challenge, crisis, and chaos. Right? The entropy or the measure of disorder in all the three is increasing. So to face a challenge, it is easy. To face a crisis, it's difficult. To face a chaos is still more difficult. And the world always moves from order to disorder to disorder, and therefore any action which is spontaneous will also go for a disorder. In a school system, please note that because you have got lots of elements and all these elements are very engaging and active, the kind and the quality of disorder is likely to be very high. It is not like an office where office people come and sit and go. But when it comes to a school, you have got children moving around, the classes are moving around, subjects are moving around. So there is a lot of dynamics in the school system, and therefore there is every possibility of different types of crisis happening in the school. Therefore, as an educational leader, we should be ready to face a crisis, right, on a regular basis. Don't ever think that the crisis will come at a point of time. Today's world, remember friends, when I was a principal in the mid-70s, I could say that things could go a bit smooth. But in today's world, where there is a lot of consumerist tendencies going on, there is a great aggression, there is a lot of restlessness, and therefore the possibilities of the crisis, the intensity of the crisis, the aggression caused by the crisis would be very high. Now, let's come to some psychological domains of handling the crisis. When you look at the way that Freud has talked about crisis, one of the elements of the crisis and the chaos is always associated with fear and insecurity. Please note that. So the natural consequence in a system is that the crisis, delivers a fear. You don't know what will happen next, right? So you have a legal action, you have a police action, you have got a parental action. So you don't know what kind of action will come. So fear and insecurity is always associated with a crisis. So a leader should understand very clearly that he should be able to face the fear. He should be able to face the insecurity. It's a very interesting proverb. The proverb says, fear of facing the fear is more difficult than facing the fear itself. I repeat, the fear of facing the fear is more difficult than the fear itself, because the anticipation of fear is more dangerous than the fear itself. In other words, now let's take an example of corona. Now, the fear of having corona is more killing than corona itself, right? So that's exactly what has created the fear dynamics. We say, I was talking yesterday about what's called fear marketing. Today, a lot of fear marketing is happening in the society. Now, Sigmund Freud, when he dealt with the concept of fear, he said humans always have got a tendency to face fear in two different ways, either to fight or flight. That they escape or they fight, right? Today, for leaders, there is no way you escape out. So for leaders, they have to only fight the fear, they have to only fight the crisis, they have to only fight the chaos. Now, what is the challenge in fighting the chaos, managing the chaos, is the anxiety neurosis. What is the anxiety neurosis? Now, normally we develop, oh, ye kyo ho jayega, ye ho jayega, wo ho jayega, aisa ho jaye to main kya jawab दूं. So these kind of anticipations, which are not necessarily real, but which are caused by our own psychological hangovers of unknown, that's what's called in the fear psychosis. The second factor is that I already said about time. Now, time management is very critical for leadership. Therefore, a good leader is one who optimizes his time, who is able to work, quickly. Working quickly, fearlessly is a very important thing. The third factor is managing mass behavior. Remember one thing, when you have a crisis due to one or two people, there is no problem. But most often the crisis and chaos comes with a mass, right? A parental mass, a student mass, a social mass, or something else. So how do you handle a mass behavior where you find you are fighting all alone? So the impact of crisis has three dimensions: managing your anxiety, managing your time, and managing the mass, right? Now, let's very specifically look at the present crisis before I tell you what are the ways we can plan our future leadership consequent to this corona. What has this corona done for us? One, it has caused a social psyche which is not conducive, right? The entire society world over have, been, the profile of the people has been badly affected. The psychological profile of the people has been affected. People suffer from low self-esteem. People suffer from lack of self-worth. The possibility of loss of jobs has created a challenge to them. The possibility of the economic lockdown or economic rendering them poor is going to make them disturbed, and therefore there is a psychological social psyche is terribly affected. So as principals of schools, as leaders of the schools, you will be meeting people who are now at low self-value, and this will have a reaction. They are not going to talk to you in a soft manner. They are not going to talk to you with a in a sweet voice. they are likely to be aggressive, they are likely to be authoritative, they are likely to be affirmative. So handling these people is going to be a big problem, and therefore that's where you as leaders exhibit your quality of leadership. The second factor that you are going to have out of this corona situation is a sense of helplessness everywhere, right? Now you go to your local authorities, sir, I want this to be done. They said, nahi, ye nahi ho payega. And you go to the board, you go to everywhere. Everybody has one reason or the other to to dissociate themselves from a kind of possible help that could be done to restore institutions. So your institutional rehabilitation is going to be a challenge. It will take time. So don't press a panic button. मुझे कल से स्कूल ऐसे करवाना है, कल से सिस्टम ऐसा होना है, ये हो नहीं पाएगा. Friends, please be aware that time is a question and time is an answer. Therefore, you have to be a curator of the time. You have to absorb things, and you have to manage things, and that is a quality of a leader in crisis. Now, the third thing is going to be institutional structures are not going to be operational. What do I mean by that? I was attending an international conference a few days back when people in England and were telling that the schools are not likely to reopen before Christmas. And a gentleman from the United States said that there may be a gap year for 1 year more in some other schools. That's exactly what how the people are feeling about it. And another principal was making a remark. Parents are telling me that your school has been given for housing the victims, housing the victims, and therefore how safe is the school for my children? Can I stop my children coming to the school for 1 year? So these are the kind of institutional challenges, friends, you be getting, right? So what are the areas that you need to handle at this point of time? Leaders, please remember that there are 4 areas which calls for your attention for management. 1, knowledge management. Please note, 1 is knowledge management. The other is a process management. The third is a resource management. And the fourth is a curriculum management. I put it across: knowledge management, process management, resource management, curriculum management. You may be asking a question: is knowledge management and curriculum management are they same? No, they are not the same. What do I mean by that? Knowledge management. Now, for example, you would be required to have new skills at this point of time. Many of your teachers may not be aware how to do an online classroom. Many of your teachers may not be aware how to do get on with a computer. So you are now going to have a synergy between a formal learning system and informal learning system. So the challenge before leaders is how do you synergize formal knowledge and informal knowledge? That's going to be a big challenge. So you will have to work out specific strategies for that. Second, process management. What do you mean by process management? Now already there are moves that whether you can have 2 shift schools, 50% of students coming in the morning, 50% in the afternoon. So how are you going to manage the process of running the school? You're using your laboratories, using your libraries, organizing your teachers. All that's going to be a challenge. The third is going to be a resource management. Resource, human resource, physical resource, fiscal resource, economic resources. All these things are going to be very, very difficult. The flow of economy, the flow of revenue for the school is not going to be very, very smooth for at least 1 more year. So schools should be very well ready to come with some alternate plans of managing their economy, managing their HR people. A number of teachers may leave your school, whom you are recruited from different states. They might like to go back to their states. So all these things are likely to happen around. Last but not the least, the curriculum management. What is the curriculum management? Your whole curriculum is going to be now curtailed, right? Number 1, because of the shortage of time. the new education policy is coming. Therefore, you are likely to have new modes of curricular delivery. The mode of delivering curriculum online is entirely different from the mode of delivering the curriculum formally. So you have a paradigm shift that's happening around. So how are you going to handle that is all the question that you have. So I recall 4 dimensions of management: knowledge management, process management, resource management, and curriculum management. So do we press a panic button? What are the variables that you have in your leadership? Friends, please remember one thing. You are not the architect of learning. Now, there is a misconception that learning happens only because of schools, whether it's parents or teachers or society. Remember that even before schools came into play, learning was happening. Informal learning was dominating than the formal learning. And even if the schools are closed for 1 year, still learning will happen, but it will happen by other modes, informal learning. So learning never stops. Only the modus operandi of learning will only change. Remember, schools are only formal organized platforms, right? Now, the question is you conceptualize knowledge and try to put into formal modes and deliver in the school. Whereas the same knowledge gets to the children outside through informal modes. Okay. Now, you in schools, you have got a technology platform by which you deliver the models. But at home, you don't have the technology models today. So the question is that how do we are going to process learning in the days to come? Remember one thing, the formal learning in classrooms is going to be on the decline. Informal learning through technology, online classrooms will be absolutely essential, whether you like it or not. Whatever be the roadblocks, whatever be the shortcomings, that will find its way onto. I am not saying that formal classrooms will be replaced. No, never. Even great futurologists have said for another 30 years, formal schools will continue to exist. The role of teachers in classrooms will have a significant role in order to provide the life skills for children and learning skills for the children. But a lot of learning will happen outside the school system. And, therefore, learning all these days was linear. That we all believe that teacher taught and the child learned, but that's not going to be that anymore. Learning will not be linear. Learning cannot be caused. Remember, the myth that the teachers have, that learning can be caused. It can never be caused. Learning can only be facilitated. Therefore, the schools will have to shift their paradigm, their approach, their strategy to make learning facilitative, learning informal, and therefore, what are the options that the schools have at this point of time? You have the technology platform that is coming through. Now, all that what we are doing on the technology platform is honestly speaking, is not the right thing. In other words, we are adopting the synchronous mode. What do you mean by synchronous mode? You know very well what the teacher does in the classroom, the teacher does on the screen. Nothing more, nothing less. Now, for 90% of the time, the teacher's face is seen on the screen. That's not an online learning. Please note that. That is a synchronous learning of a formal mode through technology. But what is the real online learning? Where the online learning is a multi-layer learning, multi-dimensional learning, multifaceted learning, where learning occurs through a synergy of various inputs that's happening around. Therefore, as of today, online learning is not an alchemy, right? You are not going to convert a base metal into gold. You are not going to make your children very intelligent because of technology. But certainly, technology is a great enabler, friends. Let's be ready for the technology to come. Before I go into 10 important things you, as a leader, you should do, I want to put a small note to you that the pedagogy for online learning is entirely different from the pedagogy of a formal classroom. Remember, your lesson plans, what you execute for your online, your formal class will not fit into the online classes. Course construction methodologies are entirely different, right? Therefore, the Bloom's taxonomy, which was designed for a unilayer learning, which was for a formal classroom, has got to be repositioned, re-engineered to fit into the multi-layer, multi-dimensional online learning process. So that is what's going to happen. So what are the ways we can do that? Three important methods of approach we have. Either we have flipped classrooms, either we have blended classrooms, or we have a heuristic classrooms. So as leaders today, you should be ready when it comes to knowledge management, when it comes to process management, when it comes to your HR and curriculum management. You will have to tune your future to adapt to any one of these methods. Flipped classrooms, where knowledge is pre-packed and delivered to the child, and the child comes back to the regular classroom to discuss what he has learned, to experiment what he has learned, to share what he has learned, and thereby enabling co-construction of knowledge. That's what the flipped classroom is all about. Blended classrooms, where the formal classroom, informal classroom, technology, a textbook, all that, co-curricular activities, everything comes in a blended form and gives a blended learning. Last but not the least is a heuristic learning, where you have a research-based approach, you have an investigative approach, and enabling the children to learn. So a good futuristic learning, a good leader of the future will synergize all these three models of learning to be successful. I'm just going to give a break here for 3 to 4 minutes, right? And then we get back to 10 important steps a leader should know in order to manage a crisis. Okay? Mr. Handu?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I can hear you now.
A break for 3-4 minutes.
That's lovely, sir. Have a glass of water, sir.
Yeah.
I am muting everybody. You will have to unmute yourself on your return. May I request all the participants not to unmute themselves, please. We have faced lots of... Don't unmute yourselves. Don't unmute yourselves.
5 मिनट के लिए हमने अनम्यूट करने को बोला।
क्या कंचे की आवाज है?
नहीं सर, मैंने म्यूट करने को बोला, अनम्यूट करने को नहीं बोला।
Professor Handu, can you hear me?
Yes, sir, I can.
I have sent you a mail on your Yahoo account.
That's right, sir. Yes, sir. I've seen.
It is a 3 minutes video as a tribute to the teachers of the world.
That's right, sir. I'll try to play it for them.
During this break, if it is possible,
I'll try my best.
It is a tribute to the teachers of the world.
Somebody has shared the screen. I mean, because the screen has been shared, I cannot share the screen.
I think it is Professor Bala's screen.
Balaji's. Yeah. Balaji's screen. Balaji, could I request you to stop screening? Because then only I would be able to. Thank you, Dr. Ashokji. I'll see what I can do.
You can download it and share the video on your screen share.
That's what I'm trying to do. You see, I'm also new to this technology.
I know.
I'm learning many things. I am not able to come out of my Zoom. I cannot switch it off. But as soon as I say that I want to exit the full screen, and then minimize, it doesn't allow me to minimize. So what do I do? Oh, now it has allowed me. You said it was on Yahoo, sir.
Yeah.
Right, yes, sir, it's there. I'll download it in a second. It's a link only.
Yeah, it's a link. Yeah. So you can.
I can play it and at the same time share my screen also.
Yes, that is possible.
May I play on behalf of you, sir?
Definitely, sir.
Okay, sir. I am going to play, sir, on behalf of you.